I wanted to give you this little video for 918. That's the graph and table completion. Okay. And like I said, like it's in my email, this assignment will impact your grade like directly. That's is one of the things we're grading on. So I wanted to kind of walk through my example here and what you will need to complete. So we found it easier if kids do this on paper. So this might be one where you just get out a piece of notebook paper and you can copy down exactly how I have it in here. I think that'll make it easy, okay? So what I want you to do first is you're going to start by making the this table, sorry. The table, and it's also in Canvas. So we have before fire numbers, percent change, and then this section that's highlighted is blank, and that's what we're going to fill in. So once you make the table, as you can see, I've already filled in one. What you're going to do is to find the number, you're going to take the number of before the fire. So in this case, it was 7,100,000, and then you're going to multiply that by the percent change, but you're going to make that a decimal. So in this case, I multiplied 7,100,000 times 10% or 0.10. Okay, so 0.10, I moved the decimal place twice, and I got 710,000. Okay, you're going to take that number and you're going to subtract it from your first number. So here again, I have 7,100,000, and I subtract what I got up here, which was the 710,000, and that'll give me my number for after the fire. So in this case, it's 6,390,000. That's what goes in there. So what you need to do is you're going to do that same process for the deer and for the mountain lion. So for the deer, you're going to multiply by 0.15. And for the mountain lion, you're going to, since we have to move it twice, you're going to multiply by 0.05. And you'll get numbers there. And then once you get that number, remember you have to subtract from your starting number. Okay, so you're going to fill in this kind of after the fire piece. This information here, where my mouse is, you do not need to write down. That was more or less giving you an example of what the problem's going to look like. So please use this as an example, but you don't need to write this down. But you do need to copy down this chart. So the first thing you should have is this table. Next, you would have a graph. Since I already did the after fire, I gave you an example on the graph. I think it's easier. Population on the side, and then your three things we're comparing: the grasslands, the deer, and the mountain lion. So for the grasslands, I went ahead and wrote my before the fire. I wrote what their population was, and then I wrote before, just so you know it's before and after. And here's my after. Again, obviously the after number is smaller, so my bar graph needs to be smaller. So once you have the numbers for the deer and the mountain lion, that's where that'll go. So you'll have a before and after for the deer and a before and after for the mountain lion. And then I just gave a key. You don't have to necessarily color them in if you label them before and after. I just thought it'd be easier, okay? So once you complete that graph, so you're going to have 6 bars on this graph, the before and after, before and after. You're going to predict. And I saw you turn in your prediction online. You can keep that prediction. So what will happen if there's another fire? Will the numbers go back up at any point? So let's say this number is after the fire. Let's say that the vegetation starts to grow back and deers eat more grass, and so the deer population starts to rise. The mountain lion population is going to rise as well, right? So you would, in your prediction, kind of say, well, the grasslands will grow back, therefore the deer have more food to eat. If the deer have more food to eat because they eat the grass, that's going to bring their population up. And the mountain lions, in return, eat the deer. If there's more deer to eat, the mountain lions are going to have that food. And that kind of brings me to my last point. You're going to also explain what's happening in the graph. So kind of what I talked about. So the deer eats the grass, right? So if there's less grass, there's less food for the deer. If there's less food for the deer, some of them are going to starve and some of them are going to die. In return, if the mountain lion eats the deer, if we have fewer deer, if the deer are dying off because they're getting hungry, you think the mountain lions would do the same thing because there's less deer to eat. So just kind of explain your graph and explain why you think, and what I kind of talked about, why you think that trend goes down. Please let me know if you have any questions, if that makes sense. So all the highlighted pieces are the pieces you need to fill in. So you need to fill in the after fire numbers, We need to create our graph for our deer and mountain lion. You're going to predict your next 5 years, and then you're going to tell me what's happening in your graph. Why are those numbers going down? Obviously, the fire takes away some grasslands, but really go into detail of focus on the deer, what they eat, which is the grass, and the mountain lions, what they eat, which is the deer. So if your food supply goes down, your population of what's eating that is also going to go down. So that's kind of the target we were looking for. So if you want to make this on a piece of paper, and then again, you can just take a screenshot of this. I use my phone to take this picture and then just send it to myself, or you can use Photo Booth on your laptop and then re-upload that to Canvas. And again, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help.